Okay, today we're going to talk about factoring trinomials again, and it's similar to what we did in the last video, only this time we're going to have a coefficient in front of our squared term. Okay, so we still have a trinomial, and we're going to turn it into two binomials. Okay, but here, see, I've got a 2 in front of my y squared, so I have a coefficient in front of my squared term. So I have to deal with this 2 and that 2 down there to get the 5y in the middle, right? Because this is my first times my first term. This is my last times my last term. And this is the sum of the inner and outer products. So anyway, so we have to figure out what are the factors of 2, which is pretty easy. It's just 2 and 1. And then we have factors of 2 down here again, 2 and 1. And then for our 2 binomials, we have to figure out which one of these numbers goes in which of the 4 positions. Okay, so a lot of this is just trial and error. But this is pretty easy because it's 2y squared. So I know that one of these is 2y and one of them is just y. Because 2y times y is 2y squared. So now I need to figure out where to put this 2 and this 1. And I'm trying to get the 5y. And it's all positive. So that means that both of these terms are either positive or they're both positive because that's positive too. So if I put 2 here and 1 here, then I end up with 2y times y, 2y squared. 1 times 2 is 2, and 1y plus 4y is 5y. So that checks out. So my binomial is 2y plus 1 times y plus 2 is the answer to this problem. So that one's pretty easy. Let's do one that has a bigger, more numbers to deal with, and let's see how we're going to do it. Okay, this time I have to figure out factors of 3, that's pretty easy, 3 and 1. And I have factors of -6. So actually you end up with quite a bit. I can have -1 and 6, -6 and 1, -2 and 3, -3 and 2. Okay, so we got a lot more to work with here. And as I said, a lot of it's just trial and error. But I know that my n term is going to be 3n in one and n in the other one. So now I have to figure out which of these factors go in these 2 spots so that I end up with -7. Okay? So if I look at this and, well, you can just try different things. So if I put a 6 here and a 1 here, I'm going to end up with, well, we'll just stick it in there and see what happens. Then I end up with -3n plus 6n, and my answer would be plus 3n in the middle. So I know that's not it. So let's try a 2 and a 3, okay? I'm going to put 3 here and 2 here. I end up with 3 times 3, that's 9n, and 2n. So 9n and 2n, if I subtract, I get -7. So which one's going to be negative, the 3 or the 2? Well, it has to be the 3 since it's -7. But you can try both of them and see what you get. But anyway, so we have this binomial and this binomial, and let's multiply, let's do FOIL to check our work and make sure we did it right. And we have our first and first term, 3n times n is 3n to the 2nd power. Our last and last term, 2 times -3 is -6. And then in the center we have 2 times, for our outer we've got 3n times negative 3 minus 9n, 2 times n plus 2n, and minus 9 plus 2 is negative 7. So that checks out. And so these are our two binomials that when we factor that trinomial out, that's what we get. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple more just to make sure you got it. Let me see. This one's got a great big number in the middle. So my factors of 6, 6, and 1, 2, and 3, my factors of 7 are going to just be 7. But look, I've got a negative number in the middle. So that tells me that both of the factors of 7 have got to be negative because I have a positive third term in my trinomial. Okay, so negative times negative is positive, but I have a negative number here. So I'm going to move down here where I've got more room. And we're just going to try 6n and n. And you could have started out trying 2 and 3, whatever you want to do. Okay, now I'm going to put negative 7 and 1. So if I have negative 7 here, and negative 1 here, I end up with minus 7n minus 6n, and that's negative 13, so I know that's not right. So let's try, I know that the negative 7 and the negative 1 are right. So let's try, yes? Let's try 2 and 3. And we end up with negative 7 times 3, negative 21, negative 2 times 1, negative 2, and negative 21n minus 2n is negative 23n. So my two binomials, negative 2 minus 7, 2n minus 7 times 3n minus 1. I'm going to show you one more thing, and then I'm going to let you do work on your own. Now look at these numbers. That would be a real bear to factor out the way it is. But if you ever end up with a problem like this that has big numbers in it, look for a common factor that you can take out first. And so I've got 18, 33, and 30. So my common factor for those three is 3. So I'm going to take 3 out of each of these. So I've got 3 times 6 is 18. 6x squared, 3 times 11 is 33, 11x, and 3 times 10 is 30 minus 10. Okay, now I can deal with this trinomial, and it's going to be a lot easier. So I've got factors of 6, we got 1 and 6, and 2 and 3. So I'm just going to, Michael, don't forget to put your 3 over there. And for 10, we've got 10 and 1 and 2 and 5, and I'm just going to start with 2 and 3. 2x, 3x, and I'm trying to get to 11. So if I do 2 here and 5 here, let's see what I get. And one of them's got to be negative since it's negative 10. So if I do this, and I have negative 10x, positive 10x minus 6x, and that's 4x. So that doesn't work. So Let's try switching the 5 and the 2 around. And now I have 15 and 4. Okay, so 15 minus 4 is 11. And I want a positive 11x. So I'm going to put my positive sign there, my plus there, my negative there. And I get 2 times 3, 6x squared, 5 times negative 2, minus 10, 2 times 3x plus 15x, 2x times negative 2 minus 4x, and 15x minus 4x is 11x. Okay? I don't think any of the problems that you guys have to do on your workbook page, you need to take out a common factor, but I just wanted to show you how to do it in case you ever run across one where you need to do that. So your problems are on page 295, and most of these numbers are prime. I think there might be a 4 that you have to deal with, so you're going to work with 2 times 2 or 4 times 1. But most of these coefficients for your x squared are prime, so you've only got 2 to worry about. So it shouldn't be that hard. I'll do one from your homework. Let me pick one out that you guys has. I'm going to okay? So I already know that since 3 is prime, I'm going to have 3y, this is number 7, if you wonder. I'm going to have 3y here and y here. I already know that since this is prime. So now I have to worry about the 12. And it's negative, so I'm going to have negative 3 times 4, negative 4 times 3, negative 2 times 6, negative 6 times 1, negative 12 times 1, 1 times negative 12. But I think if I'm going to 16, let's try 2 and 6. And once you get used to doing these, you'll be able to do a lot of it in your head. But right now, you're just going to have to try things. But I was just looking at this and I thought, hey, 3 times 6 is 18. 18 minus 2 is 16. Okay, so now I need to figure out which one's going to have the plus sign and which one's going to have the minus sign. It's the quantity, the bigger quantity has to be negative, so I'm going to put a minus sign in front of the 6. And the smaller quantity is positive. So now I have 3y times y, 3y squared, 2 times negative 6, negative 12, 3y times negative 6 minus 18y, plus 2 times y, 2y, and negative 18y plus 2y is negative 16y. Okay? So you've got, the prime ones are pretty easy. So you know you've only got the 2 factors. So those you don't have to worry about. So anyway, if you have any questions, just let me know and we'll figure something out. Bye. Okay.